Hello and welcome to this video. In this one, I'm going to show you some quick tricks regarding SSH where you can get access to a remote machine and you can set up your configurations in your SSH config file. I'm using Windows, so let's go ahead and get started. I do have two machines on my home network that I'm going to use as an example. Those machines are 10.0.10.105. That's one machine that I have. See, I can access it. And then 107 that I have. I could SSH into these machines, so I can do SSH ubuntu.10.0.10.105. I need to put in the password for my private key. And then you see I have access. This is my Pi-hole machine. That's a Dockerized container that you can use to do ad blocking and set up your own DNS internally. And then I have another machine that I'm going to SSH into. Oh, might help if I put the password in correctly. And this is 989. This is going to be for my AI automation. Not getting into these tools specifically, those will be on other videos. This is just how we can set up SSH so we can easily get into those machines via rememberable names. Very helpful if you have a lot of machines on your home network and you don't want to put in the IP address. You'd rather just put in the host name. So let's go ahead and exit out of this. What I have open now is my SSH, my .ssh config file in my home directory. If you don't have it, you can go to there, go to your home directory.ssh. If you don't have a config file, you can create it manually. So it's just named config. All right. So here what we can do is we can start putting in our host that we want to SSH into, and we can specify what do we want to call it. So you can call it anything you want. What is the IP address? And if you can also put in user and identity files if you need to. I'm using the default identity file, my SSH key pair, but if you create your own, you can use those ones as well. I'm gonna go ahead and put in host is the value that we'll put in. What do I want to call it? I'm just gonna say Pi-hole first, because there we go, Pi-hole. And then we're gonna say host name. And this is going to be either the fully qualified domain name or the IP address. We'll start off with the IP address, 10.0.10.105. And you can specify the default user. I'm going to say Ubuntu. That way I don't have to put in the username on the command prompt. And if you are using a different identity file, you want to put it right here. I'm using the default one that I created, but if you're using a different private key to authenticate, you can put that full path there. I'm going to take that out since I don't need it, since they're both using the same key pair. And then I'm going to do that one more time. Host 989. Host name 10.0.10.107 and user Ubuntu as well. Let's go ahead and save that. Now I'll do an SSH 989 and notice I'm being prompted for my password and I'm in there. No need to put in the user since they both use the same user and they are going to use the same key as well. So I'll also do one for Pi-hole as well. Easy to get into those machines, and it's a rememberable name. So if you have a lot of machines on your home network, you can specify those in your config file by just that host name. So let's go one level deeper. You can also do it if you have a fully qualified domain name as well, which I do. And I have piehole.homelab84.com as well as 989.homelab84.com. So now that I have set those up with the fully qualified domain name, we can do the same thing, like SSH into Pi-hole. So that's using a fully qualified domain name over the IP address. Helpful if you're using an internal DNS server, which I'm using for Pi-hole, or you can do it if you have a domain that you've purchased, such as in Namecheap. You can set up your advanced DNS settings where you specify the host name, and it works internally because it's going out to the DNS, but it's still resolving to an internal IP address. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. We have two records now in our config file that point to two different machines. They fall underneath the same domain name, the parent domain name. These are just subdomains. Well, if you have a lot of machines on your home network, for me, I don't like that. It seems like I'm just repeating effort, essentially. So the question that I had to myself was, is it possible to just have a wildcard on this domain name and not have to put these separate records? And the answer is yes. So if I come over here to the top of the file, I'm going to type in conical host name and yes, and then conical domains. And this is where I can put one or more domains. I'm going to put homelab84.com, and I'm just going to remove this down here. And I'm just going to say host star.homelab84.com and the user Ubuntu. In this case, if they're using the same username, save the file, and I'll do SSH 989, and I'm being prompted for the password, and I'm in. Same thing if I do Pi-hole. So if you want to have a more cleaner file and not have to put multiple records, and the machines have the same username and they fall underneath the same parent domain, they're just subdomains, you can use this in your config file to clean it up rather than having individual records. Hopefully this has been helpful. If it has been, please like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. So thanks for watching and take care.